Hey guys. Okay. On my mind over the last few weeks is the concept of really honing in on your business's ability to grow and expand and accelerate, and literally for it to be this juicy, adventure that you're on. And a lot of the times, if you're like me, we have never thought about creating a juicy business. Obviously we think about growing it, potentially expanding it, what this is going to look like, how are we leaning in, but we never consider the dynamics of it being juicy, like fully aligned in the heart center. And if you guys have been following me for a while, listening to some of the videos on here, you will know that I talk about leading with the heart. I talk about expanding through the heart in our businesses. And when we step into really owning this passionate aspect to our life, so that it gets infused in the work we do, in the people we serve, in the way we show up, in the way we move in the world. And your impact is so needed right now that if you are hesitant at all, if you are not stepping in, if you are not creating, if you are going and finding a part-time job because you haven't been able to make the business work, and you are watching this video right now, there's pieces of your business that are unaligned. That's why you're not having the connection. That's why you're not being able to close the gaps and close people into programs. That's why you're not being able to scale or create your income in the way that you desire to do that. So a couple things to consider when you are really leaning in and looking at your business with this, blanket availability of a clean slate or from a different viewpoint. Like I talk about this often, and I haven't said it recently, so it's kind of fun how it's showing up right now in this video, is like sometimes we need to pull ourselves out of our business structures and look at the business from another bird's eye view, from not being attached emotionally to the business, but looking at it from the outside, almost like we're coaching ourselves and taking a look at it and going, okay, so if my business is not where I want it to be, what are some of the key things that are happening? So firstly, dissecting the dynamics. Do we have something to sell? Okay, and does that thing to sell light us up and jazz us up and fire us up on all cylinders? And if it's not, and you only created it to make money, energetics are off inside of that program or offering. So going in and fine tuning it, potentially looking at it from who you are now, looking at it from the people that you really want to serve, and then really dissecting the business model in that availability for creating income. That's the first thing. And also consider this: if you are a teacher, meaning you love to teach things, but you may not be a coach, those are two separate entities that need to be endeavored in or worked upon. So what I mean by that is, like, if you've been told by your other coach or by programs that you've taken for your expertise that you need to become a coach, but you don't want to coach, you don't want to hold people accountable to this, you don't want to be in the nitty gritty with them, like that's just not who you are, it doesn't fire you up, then maybe your natural instinct is in that of being a teacher. So being able to teach the information, but then the students or the people in the programs run and take it and integrate it on their own. And that's a whole other skill set. I play in both worlds. So I coach as well as I teach. And I love to do both. One-to-one work really fires me up, especially when I'm working in like expanding energy and blowing up barriers and working in that dynamic. It totally fires me up. And I am shifting and molding my one-to-one coaching work in this space as well. Whereas potentially some of the business growth I do and the launching courses and those dynamics are moving into my accelerators or moving into masterminds instead of in one-to-one work, where the one-to-one work is like this expansive piece, like it's more energetics, it's all that. But that's coming into alignment for me, but really looking at your model and going, I get jazzed up by launching masterclasses every month and programs every month and really leaning into this availability to help serve people in different ways. And then I teach it, deliver it, and then I get to see the results in the back end. They're messaging me, oh my God, the shifts, that like gets me really jazzed. So looking at your model from that perspective too, as here's your offerings, do they light you up? And are you in the right lanes inside of your offerings? A lot of us have been taught to build a business based on someone else's success, based on a model that someone else created, based on this and that, when inside of who you are, there's this flame, this fuel, this excitement to create in your own blueprint. And it's starting to yield into that and shift into that and mold into that. And that's where the game plan really is. And the high accelerated results. So when that happens, the high accelerated results come in for you to be able to step into this new space and create in it. The next thing to consider looking at is all the tasks that you're doing inside of your day. Is there a way that you can remove some of them if they don't light you up, or delegate some of them? Is there a possibility there? And sometimes as small business owners, our budgets are strained by being able to step in and pay people and work inside of that space and maneuver through. But I can guarantee you, the second you alleviate some of that stress when it comes to that workload, where you are free to flow in the dynamic that makes sense for you, they will pay themselves tenfold by helping you inside of the space. If you're doing it right and it's set up properly. Like if you are putting out videos on TikTok, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and you are trying to create whatever pin boards on Pinterest, and all of this you're trying to do all the time consistently, and it doesn't make sense for your brand or it doesn't feel aligned, it's a waste of energy. So really looking at and honing in on the places that you need to put your potency in, the places that you really need to step in energetically into, the places that you really can serve from this energy to be able to have that potency and have that expansion show up for you in those ways, in that aspect of things. So in consideration with that, I wanted to really lean in today to talk to you guys about authentically scaling your business for yourself and for your people. And when you're creating programs, I did a training once called the Client Journey, and about really looking at and honing in on who are your people that you serve? Who are they? What do they need in the dynamic of what you can give them? So for me, and I've talked about this before, but I'm going to summarize it real quick here. I serve lightpreneurs. So light worker entrepreneurs. They may not be doing, Reiki in their business, but they hold an energetic space. They're expanding themselves. They're leaning into spirituality. They are open. They're all of that thing. And their tactile job may not represent spirituality, but they are a spirit being in actual business. Okay. And I support them in two prongs, spirituality and in business growth. So the courses I launch every month, the programs I'm offering will fit into one of two of these things. And sometimes they're blended together, but other times they're in their own separate space. The activation and calibrate and my magic masterclass, all of that fits under spirituality. How do I help support them as the spiritual entrepreneurs that they are to expand, to step in, to really embody this next version of them? One. Then the dynamic of building strategy in business, being able to create programs and offerings, launch them successfully, authentically create and content, all of that fits under this prong. So as I look at my ideal person to work with, what is it that they're going to need through their journey to support them, and how can I show up to help them in certain avenues? Now, it won't always be me, right? So, and that is something that I'm humble on, that I have a lane and this is my lane, and then getting support around me to help potentially, maybe if that client needs hormonal work, having a really tapped in spiritual hormonal coach that can help serve them, or someone that needs to expand their intuition, helping, and then people like that in my world. So I'm looking to build out also my power players so that I can serve my people more, where if they don't need me, they need this, then we throw them there, or we collaborate, or we lean in, or whatever it looks like, right? And energy, but that's what we call the client journey. What do your people need? So if you are a health and wellness coach and you are really tapped in to helping people release weight, what else do they need? Maybe they need supplementation. Maybe they need a certain program. Then they need a workout. Maybe they need a certain product line. Maybe right? And now you build out the model and go, okay, where can I lean in? What jazzes me up? What makes sense for my brand? How do I step into scale? So I wanted to mention that to you guys today, because I think it's important that we really look through these dynamics and these availabilities when we are considering scaling and stepping in, because if you are not getting the results that you want, there's a disconnect in energy somewhere. Most likely the offerings are not from your heart-centered space. So you cannot push them into the world. People aren't buying them because they're not authentically yours in your energy. And really considering honing in on your people. Sometimes we get scared too when we're niching down in a brand that you're like, well, we can serve everyone. It's like your potency is in this little group here. but that little group could be millions in that little group. But now your content is all potent inside of here. We're serving them. We have product lines that attach into this that make sense for who they are. And that is where the magic comes into play. Once you find your lane and find that momentum there, it's like a game over. So I'm wishing you a game over. If you have questions about this, I've got a bunch of dynamics that I can help serve you in. So please just reach out. Would love to help you out in that. But I'll see you guys again in the next video. Have a great day.